It has happened in Vegas. The Cup's going to stay in Vegas. And for the first time, the Golden Knights are Stanley Cup champions.
Hey, welcome everybody to the next installment of the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. I said next because I didn't remember what number it was, if it was 7 or 8 or what. We skipped a week, so my numbering system is off. But we're back now after some scheduling conflicts, and we've got an unfamiliar face here. Welcome our friend Sam, who was mentioned on Owen's episode. He was at that Capitals game that Owen went to with the mishap with Vitek Vanacek's wife.
Yes, yeah, that's Well, we won't be seeing her again in the stadium probably, but
Probably not. No.
no.
Unless
So
they're playing New Jersey.
yeah, I wonder. Well, does she travel with the team? I don't know.
Probably not. I would say probably unless they still live down there, but my guess would be probably not since he's been there for what? This is his second year or third year with New Jersey?
This would be sad.
Second year,
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
yeah.
So
other
yeah,
teams
she
do like
probably
the
moved.
no the Bruins do like the mom's trip and the dad's trip.
Yeah.
Oh, could be
Do,
that. Yeah.
is that like a NHL thing or just a Bruins thing?
No, it's definitely an NHL thing. Like I know Vegas usually does a dad's trip every year, and I think a lot of the teams do it. I don't know if all of them do, but I think most of them do either one or the other. I don't know if they do both, but I don't. And then I think didn't the Bruins do like a siblings one last year too?
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean I'm sure there's a wife trip that they've done in the past. Maybe not the Bruins, but I'm sure some team has done something like that.
Maybe you'll see her again someday.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah, I still gotta buy my season tickets. So I'll keep an eye out.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you were gonna get not a full season ticket, but like a partial
Yeah,
season ticket sort of thing.
yeah, and they to do that you have to talk to an agent on the phone, and
Yeah.
I can't schedule a time. They keep calling me during work, and I'm like, I can't. Like, I get that you work 9 to 5, but I also work 9 to 5, so I don't
Yeah.
know when we're gonna have this conversation. Um, and so it hasn't happened yet.
Ugh, that's a pain.
Yeah.
There's no like wait list or anything for the Caps. I assume for like a full season ticket or anything either. Or is there?
Yeah, I don't know, actually, but I don't think that's in the budget right now. Maybe next year.
There you go. I mean, one full year of being a lawyer, I bet that'll be
Yeah.
enough for
The
like.
Yeah, the package that I was looking at is actually it's something I didn't really know they did, but you buy like 5 or 10 games in advance, and you can do a you can do like a pre-selected package where they value each game at a different level, and so you'll get like one really high value game and then like four lesser value games. And you can buy that as a package, and I assume there's a savings as opposed to buying them individually.
You get
They
to pick the
didn't.
game.
Oh
You,
well, so you can. So you can do it. You can do a custom package too. And again, you can only choose one of what they call like a high value game.
Yeah.
And then you can choose four of the rest. Or if you're doing the 10 game package, I think you can choose 2 and 8. But yeah, they there doesn't seem to be a price difference between a self-designed package and a pre-selected package. So I don't really understand the draw of having someone pick your games for you.
Right.
and then is the package like just a set price and they give you like a random seat each time, or is it you get to pick a seat too?
So you get um, as far as seat numbers go, I'm sure if I ever get on this phone call, we'll figure that out. But you do get to select like the the price range you're looking for. So like you know what section you'll probably be in, and I assume it'll be the same seat each game. Um, I know that it would be the same section each game.
That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know how much a full season ticket costs, but it's something to look into.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you do that and don't go to every game, if you sell some, then you can definitely make your money back.
Oh
I
yeah.
think so. Yeah. I mean, I still live 2 hours away,
Hmm.
which is much closer than I used to
I was
live.
wondering.
But yeah, I definitely I can't make it up there for most of the weekday games.
That's 2 hours without traffic.
No, it's 2 hours with normal traffic.
Okay.
Yeah, with no traffic, it would be like an hour and a half or less.
Which isn't terrible, you know, compared to
No,
like the closest one for me is probably 3.5 hours. But there's like a lot to choose from, I guess. Like I've got like probably 4 or 5 in that range, but like none of them are, you know, very much closer. Versus Dean's, like you're
Mine's
what, like
half an
40
hour.
minutes, yeah,
right, yeah.
and you haven't made it over there yet.
I went there for a concert.
There you go, yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
at
actually,
least you get
year.
to see it.
Well,
no way.
maybe the. Oh no, Sam, you said you're coming out in the spring, right? I think the Bruins play here in like December. I wonder when the Caps play.
Well, no,
Good question.
I actually, well, I, I think I was planning on November, but I don't know that that's any better for the Bruins. But I also, I'm, I'm not that much further away from Raleigh, so I guess I could go see
January
that.
24th, Capitals at Avalanche.
Oh, yeah, definitely can't make it out there in January. Apparently, January through March, I will be like on call 24/7. So,
Fun.
Great.
yeah. Hmm.
On the Bruins play there or here, January 8th.
Hmm.
But yeah, Raleigh would be a good option too. I've still got to get, well, I've got to get to both Capital One and PNC. Um, so I don't think those are probably something that I would lump together because it's kind of far. But I would, so
Yeah.
they'd probably be like their own separate trips, I'd imagine.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I mean, I'm pretty much equidistant to either of them. Raleigh's a bit further, but as daunting as the thought of driving up for like even a single weekday game a week is, I know there are several people who make the drive from Richmond to DC every day for
Uh,
work, and that
Mm,
just
that
sounds
goes.
yeah,
miserable.
yeah,
Yeah,
jeez.
yeah. There's a train, so that's an option. But
I'd
I don't
imagine
think.
like,
You've always been in the same area, right? Like your whole life, Virginia-ish.
Yeah, I was born in Maryland, and so I've been in the DMV, and so DC sports teams.
Yeah.
I've always been in their broadcast area,
yep.
And when did you
but
get into hockey?
I actually didn't get into hockey until 2020. So when I started law school, that's when Owen and I started talking about hockey, and he was like, "Yeah, you should watch a few games." And then like I think we hopped on uh, a Discord call or something, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll watch a Caps game with you," and we just we were both streaming it when um, he was he was out in Montana by 2020, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he was in Montana, I was in Atlanta, and like that's like it was pretty early on in the season, and that's when I actually got in to hockey, and specifically the Caps, which is unfortunately 2 years too late to
I
have
know.
a reason to celebrate. But I don't I'm not. I don't think anybody could call me a bandwagon fan, because
No,
there's not much to bandwagon on at this point, except for maybe Ovi breaking some records. But um, if anybody's been a fan in the past like decade, then then they're bandwagoning on Ovi. So
Brendan's a bandwagon fan though.
right.
well,
Became a fan of a team that was already a playoff team, won the cup a few years
yeah,
later.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I only like the big market teams, the ones that always win. So that's how
If
it goes.
if a team came to Atlanta, would you become a fan of them, or would you stay true to the Caps?
they'd be a secondary team.
They'd probably be in the same division, um, as the Caps if I had to take a guess. So that your
Yeah.
allegiance might get tested during the
Mm.
season or potentially in the playoffs too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still land with the Caps, but it seems like a win-win, honestly, if they were to play. But uh, yeah, I mean, Atlanta's had two teams in the past, and they both got sent to Canada because they
Yeah,
didn't work. But I have had this discussion with a few people, and I still think that the Atlanta Thrashers jerseys, at least one of them, is one of the best um, sports jerseys ever made.
With the take.
I think it's an incredible
I thought you were
jersey.
just gonna say hockey jersey.
I don't think it's
That's
a crazy
pretty cool.
like they've had some good ones. Are you? I'm trying to think. Are you talking about the one that's like the Y shape or the one with the Thrasher logo, like the bird?
Well, yeah. So it's got like it's like a Y or a T shaped
Yeah, yeah.
bird, like across the chest. Yeah, I think that one looks really cool, and that honestly I might want more than a Capitals jersey. So, I don't know what that says about me, but it
It says you have good taste.
yeah, well, I think I have good taste, but I think most people do. If you don't think you have good taste, then I don't know why you have the taste that you have. So,
You don't have a lot of self confidence if you do. Yeah.
yeah,
You plan on getting a Caps jersey?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
An
just
OV
had.
one?
I don't know if I want an OV1. I wanted a
Don't say
koozie
Tom Wilson.
jersey.
Don't say Tom
Hmm.
Wilson.
I'm not gonna.
Oh,
No, I can't actually wear a Tom Wilson jersey. That I think would be a step too far. I might get spit on.
That's how I feel
Um,
about Marshawn.
yeah. Well, you
yeah.
deserve to get spit on for that. So,
Uh,
um, yeah. So I don't know. I feel bad about jerseys being made in sweatshops. I'm like, is it worth it?
The
If
made in
I
Canada one.
Yeah,
Are
there you
there
go.
ones in Canada?
Yeah,
Because
they're just twice as expensive.
Yeah, the
okay.
player worn ones are the ones that are made in Canada, but they're like typically not retail available unless like you're getting it from like the team store. Sometimes they'll sell them and things, and they're
Hmm.
also like a lot bigger sizes too. Like the smallest size you'll find, which is like very rare, is like a 52, which is like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
large size, I guess. So I don't. You might be able to fit in it
Well, because they're
depending on
meant to
your
be
size,
worn
but
over pads.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
not meant for Joe Schmo to wear.
No, it's probably made for framing.
Yeah,
If anybody takes them home,
for some
yeah.
shoulders
Brendan,
and
you
some
might
muscles.
remember this. Um, wasn't one of our professors? He had like a signed. I think it was an Ovechkin jersey, and his wife washed it.
Oh,
No.
I think it was a
oh,
Capitals jersey. It was a signed player. I want to say it was an Ovechkin jersey.
hmm.
Oh,
That I think I remember hearing about that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
brutal.
And then I saw that framed signed Crosby jersey.
Oh yeah,
That was in Charlottesville earlier this year. Yeah, someone had taken it into a framing shop and gotten it. I think they had like an autograph picture that was also set in the frame, right next to the signed jersey. And it was right there. Nobody was looking at it. It was just leaning against the counter. And,
it's crazy.
if it just
So Sam took it.
popped out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, and so here it is.
yeah. Here, let's cut that. Can we edit that out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no jerseys in my collection yet.
I don't have a Thrashers jersey either. I don't have any of the defunct teams. Although I have the Whalers throwback ones that the Hurricanes wear. Like
Right.
I have their reverse retro, and they're like Whalers alternate. But I don't have any, like any original Whalers or anything like that.
You don't have the reverse retro, the like Nordique style Avs one, do you?
No,
That's
I
one of the
don't
ones.
have that
That's
one.
the one that's super expensive too.
That one
One of
is
them.
like, yeah, minimum like $500. It's really nice, but I have to just like hold out hope that some
It's
schmuck
only gonna go up.
is gonna sell it, like not knowing what the value is.
I
But
mean, it was the top of like everyone's tier list when those came
Yeah.
out.
yeah, those are nice. What do you think of the Nordiques logo, Sam? Do you know? Are you familiar with that one?
I know.
You'll know it when you see it.
Yes. I can't.
It's
I
a
can't.
very like nondescript logo. Like if you didn't know
Right.
it was associated with the Nordiques, you would like really not know what it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
But
looking at
people
it
love it.
now. No. Yeah. I like it. It's somewhat simplistic, but yeah. Hold on. Let's see. You said there's the Nordiques reverse retro.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Caps or the not the Caps, the Avalanche wore that one the first year, which is 2020 2021.
It's funny when I thought of the logo, I thought of the secondary one first, and I was like, wait, that's the logo. Like the
What's the secondary logo?
like the little, you know, the little.
Ah, the Fleur de Lis.
That's it.
Yeah,
yeah. Um. Yeah.
I got it.
But that's why I think it's the Jets, right? Who that's what the Thrashers became. Uh,
The second flat. Yeah, the Thrashers turned into the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's why I think that's a valid reason to bring back my personal favorite jersey of all time. I think that the Jets could do or a throwback jersey to the Thrashers.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised that they've never really done anything like that. Maybe and like I think the Flames have done some sort of Atlanta Flames throwback at some point. Like I know like their current home jerseys are kind of like inspired with the same colors and everything. Um, but I don't think Winnipeg has done anything with Atlanta. Maybe because they have like their own previous identity with the original Winnipeg Jets from the 80s, which turned into the Coyotes. So maybe that's why like they don't really feel like they're rooted in like Atlanta in any way. Like I don't know if there were many, if at all, any like Atlanta Thrashers fans that became Winnipeg Jets fans once they moved.
There weren't very many Atlanta Thrashers fans to start with. Um, there were about six of them,
Yeah,
and they all stayed in Atlanta.
that,
Um,
yeah, that makes sense. And like
yeah,
I think I've heard arguments in the past about the Thrashers, like and why they didn't succeed is like not completely on like fans not showing up. Like fans did go to the games, but the teams were generally not very good, which never helps. And then
mhm.
like the ownership and um, and then eventually their arena deal like did not work. Like they lost the lease on the building, and once that happened, like and the NHL like kind of had to step in and move them because nothing was gonna happen in Atlanta. But
Yeah,
I think there's still like probably a hunger there. So I'm sure there's some
yeah,
NHL fans that are like, "Oh, would we really try Atlanta like a third time?" But
Again.
yeah.
And
I don't think
Quebec's
it
like,
would.
hey, come on. Like,
Yeah. Their time is the charm. But yeah, no, I think it comes up in almost every discussion about possible expansion cities.
Oh yeah,
And so, like, I mean, I think mostly just because it's a large sports market, and so there's a danger, I guess, that it's oversaturated for sports fans, and that they just wouldn't be able to draw viewership or ticket sales away from other sports
Right.
in the area. But I I don't know. I would have loved when I lived there to go to some NHL games, but I got there just like a few decades too late. So
Yeah. Yeah, they moved. What was it? 2012 or well, 2011 was their last season, and then I think 2012 is when they moved back to Winnipeg.
one
Um,
decade.
so
Yeah.
yeah, not too far removed, which makes it even worse because it's like you were almost close enough to get there.
Yeah.
I wonder if like if they did do expansion and Atlanta came back, if they would pick a third name or if they would go back to the Thrashers name, like because I don't know if that name was like totally loved by fans or if they would try to make like a brand new identity with Atlanta again.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, have you seen what a thrasher bird actually looks like?
I have not.
It's not intimidating. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
No.
No, the name, yeah, it sounds frightening,
Oh
but
sure.
if you look up a picture of a thrasher, it is
Just a bird.
yeah, it is like if you think of bird, like that's the picture. That's just it's
Right.
just a bird. Yeah.
So tough to draw a lot from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly not
So
like the fiery bird that they had on their jerseys.
no. No, no,
Like
no.
not quite like that.
No. But yeah, I mean they got the Hawks and the Falcons, and so I think they're trying to go for a bird motif.
Yeah, they're kind of shoehorned into that already.
Yeah, but I don't know what I mean. Yeah, they can't. They probably can't do Eagles, even though it's another league, or maybe they could, but wouldn't want to. But I don't know what other birds of prey they have to choose from.
Vultures.
Well,
Feeding on
I
the
don't think that's
dead,
no.
on the
Yeah.
dead teams before them. The last two Atlanta franchises are gone, consumed
Trying to
by
see
the
if
vultures.
you were close to any AHL teams either. My favorite AHL team name is the Wheeling Nailers. I think that's such a cool name. But it's like West Virginia and it's all the way north. It's like next to Pittsburgh. I was like, that's
So
not close to you.
What
it,
league is that?
The AHL or no, is
I think that's probably East Coast if I had to take a guess.
yeah.
maybe. And there's the Charlotte Checkers. I think that's AHL though.
Yeah, those are AHL. Yeah,
I was
the
thinking it was like
Nailers are
Charlottesville.
ECHL.
I'm like, that's close to Sam, but it's not Charlotte. Which is still
mm,
kind of close, maybe.
um, the place. So the building I took the bar in it's a convention center in Roanoke, Virginia, um, which is uh, it's 4 hours west of where I live, and there's not much around it. But what they do have in the mountains of Virginia is a local hockey team. Um, and the building I took the bar exam in was their home stadium. Um, and I gotta look up the name because it was a good one. Um,
Yeah, some of the minor league teams definitely have some of the best names because like they can get a little bit more out there, a little more creative with them.
Right.
well, I guess it's less exciting than I remember, but they were the Rail Yard Dogs,
Oh,
spelled DAWGS.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice, nice.
uh,
I feel like amateur hockey can be fun to watch. Like when I visited Owen, there's like nothing around where he is. We went to like a high school hockky game and it was
Yeah,
like packed on like
right.
a
Well,
Friday
yeah,
night or
there's nothing else
whatever.
to do.
yeah. We
I
went
saw a
to a
few.
Paddleheads game, which is like I don't remember what level of baseball it is, but that was pretty fun. And it's like like you get to root for like your home team. Everybody's pretty into it, and it's like a little bit more of an intimate experience, which is always good. And the tickets are a lot cheaper than like major league sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I've been to a few Norfolk Admirals games, and that was actually before I was
Hmm.
into hockey. It was just a thing to do with my dad.
Yep.
And they're East Coast. I think they used to be AHL, but for some reason,
I think so too.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Admirals games those were always fun. They're cheap tickets, and it's get to watch hockey in person. So
Yeah. Yeah, the same near me, the Manchester Monarchs growing up, and they were AHL, and then now they're, I don't know, maybe ECHL as well, but
mhm.
they were the feed team for the Kings, and then they ended up, now the feed team's actually closer to the Kings, which makes sense to not be across the country. Like I never understood that for so many of these teams where they're like
yeah,
not like it makes sense to just be close to each other.
that is
Yeah.
always weird. They are called the Ontario Reign, but it's Ontario, California, not
Yeah.
Ontario, Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, being of feeder teams, the Bears. Um,
Hershey.
I watched some of my first AHL game, first AHL games over the past season because of the Bears, and I stayed up late to watch them win, and I posted it on my story, which I'm sure there were probably about three people who even knew what it was that I was posting,
Yeah,
and one of them cared. But I I don't know. It was still exciting. It's cool to know that that's still part of like the whole Capitals organization.
yeah, that is cool, and I'm sure there's some prospects on the on that winning team from last season that maybe they're not pushing into the roster this year, but they're still like in the plans for Washington. So that's cool. I was pushing for Coachella Valley because I thought that would be cool for them to win in their first year. Surprise, surprise! I would be interested in having an expansion team win it all in their first year. But
Yeah.
I also think their jerseys are super cool too.
Well,
The
Agreed.
Firebird.
yeah, okay, that's fair. But yeah, that was also that's another thing that I noticed was the Capitals beat the Knights in their first cup run,
Yep.
and then their AHL affiliate beat Coachella in their first cup run,
Yeah.
and so that's that we just I guess the Capitals organization just needs expansion teams,
Yeah.
and then we'll win. Yeah.
That's how they get their wins, their first wins. Well, actually, that wasn't the first Hershey win, but it was the first Capitals
Right.
Cup win.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hershey's been. I think they've been one of the more successful American Hockey League teams. I'm not as familiar with the AHL history, but I think they've been historically
Yeah.
pretty solid for a long
Yeah.
time.
Was this their 12th, I think?
Could be.
Yeah.
Do you think the Caps are a playoff team this year?
I think I think they could have been last year. The things fell apart. They had an incredible, I think one of the like they were like top 3 teams for December, and they just kind of lost it. It fell apart after December, but I think they have it in them to do something close to that level for the whole season. But um, they are now working with uh, a few new pieces, even though they are holding on to some of the older guys.
Yeah.
Just
You like to
have
mention that a lot.
yeah. Um, I haven't looked at it recently, but at some point, um, for a lot of the last season, I think they were the oldest team in the league, and then they were again over the off season, and so now I'm not sure where they stand, but they are top 3 in average age, which experience is great, but I'm not sure that's all it takes to win the cup.
Yeah.
No, but they're just trying to get over these goals, which is fine. That's gonna
Yeah.
Yeah.
get you the money people in the door.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
definitely not going to start a rebuild until Ovi retires, would be my guess, because
No. Yeah.
that it's not going to make them money that way, and they're not really in a position right now where it necessarily makes sense unless they start selling off a whole bunch of their veteran pieces that still have value. But I think they should probably wait a couple of years. I mean, maybe it would accelerate the rebuild if they started now, but they've had some decent prospects starting to come up, like McMichael, who was a first round draft pick. I think has been getting a couple more looks.
Yeah.
And they've got some other guy, like they traded for Sandine, which was a really good move. I think a lot of people were kind of surprised that was the young defenseman for Toronto to let go rather than let go of Ligren. So I think they got good value with that trade.
Yeah,
There's some
that's one of
hope
my.
there.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he started off real hot, but I think that was I don't remember when that was, but the team was playing pretty well around that time, and then I think Sandine's numbers, they sort of tracked with team performance, but like he broke some record for like I don't know if it was most consecutive first games with a point or something,
Mm,
but he started off yeah, so like first like 4 or 5 games with the Caps, he had a point, which like that was exciting to see. But then yeah, the whole team kind of went south, which was not so exciting to see.
yeah,
I always
yeah,
like those stats when like a player just breaks into the league. Like after Matthews' first game, it's like, oh, he's on pace to pass Gretzky's goal record or
yeah, yeah.
whatever. It's like
For
4 goals a
4 goals a
game.
game, easy.
Yeah,
Why doesn't everybody do this?
right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and like this Columbus forward who just came into the league last year as a rookie, Marchenko. He was scoring. He was not getting any assists, but he had like 12 goals or something like that. It was like, okay, yeah, I guess you really don't need to pass it if you can just shoot it and score every time. I
I
think
mean,
he
that's what
ended.
Obi does. So
Yeah, that's pretty much how he's been for a long time. Is just let him rip it from the point there, and
yeah, and then not play defense.
yeah,
Well, he records a lot of hits, but other he'll uh, deal out hits and shots. Like that's his role.
that's him.
And it's funny
Yeah,
on the power play too. Like he'll play all 2 minutes, and like when the puck gets cleared, he'll just skate to the blue line and wait, and then skate back in. He like moves 40 feet during the whole 2 minutes, just like
yeah, yeah.
from his spot, clears out back in.
No, he definitely he has a role, and I mean he
He's good
has
at it.
fulfilled it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the best. He's the best at that. There's no doubt about it.
hmm Um. Yeah. I don't. I expect he will break the record. It is tough to say because if the team if they're hesitating on a rebuild to keep some of like the people he's been playing with around him, then like that the familiarity is helpful. But if they can't move the puck and they're just too slow to even get him shots, then he can't score on his own.
Yeah.
So I am a little nervous that he won't break the record um if they don't make some changes.
I think they can stay competitive enough. Like normally, if you're kind of middle of the pack level team, like you won't spend the cap every year. You'll start working on rebuilding and stuff. But if you just keep getting like trade deadline acquisitions and just like veteran players in their like early 30s and just kind of keep spending to be mediocre, then like that's all you really need. Like they're not going to just be a bottom feeder while Ovi's on the team.
Yeah.
No,
And they did
yeah,
they did sign Pacioretty in the offseason, which we'll see if he
yeah,
actually plays, because it's like that's kind of been the
Low
story
risk.
with him, unfortunately. But I mean, I think he's still serviceable. He's got a great shot. So he could be somebody to hopefully. I don't know if he would be playing with Ovi, but maybe on the power play he would get some looks.
Hmm. Yeah. I remember uh, at least the bunch of the analysts seemed to think that was a good acquisition for the Caps. But yeah, I mean that's that doesn't really mean anything until we see how the season goes. But yeah, it's promising.
Yeah, so we'll see what they end up doing. Maybe if things aren't going their way, come like the trade deadline, maybe they move a couple of UFAs, something like that, to get some value. But I think they're still trying to be competitive. And maybe if they have some decent games that they can get some empty netters to Ovi, they'll probably keep trying to feed them, because I think that's what they were doing a decent amount last year. Although Gretzky does have more empty netters than Ovi, so
Right.
Right. Yeah. It was. I don't think last season. I think it was the season before. He had like 4 or 5 games in a row where it was just they pulled the goalie and they just the Caps just shuffled the puck to Ov and he scored. I think in one game he may have done that twice,
yeah,
and and of course after the career he's had, there were still people who were like, "Oh, he can only score on an empty net because of like the 5 games out of his entire career where
yeah,
he did that."
yeah, pretty ridiculous.
But yeah, so there's always going to be critics like that, but it still counts. It's still a goal, still goes on his record. So I'm not upset about it. I'm sure he's not upset about it.
Oh no, especially
I don't think that.
once he has the
Yeah.
record, like yeah, he
Well,
won't
yeah, but
care.
I don't think he wants that to be the record-breaking goal. I think that would feel a
Yeah,
little cheap.
Hmm.
I don't know that he's going to avoid taking that shot if that is the case, but
yeah,
yeah, I don't think anybody wants to see that. I think they want to see like an impressive, like a classic Ovi snipe. Just
That
yeah.
reminds me, I don't know if they still do this, but they used to do like for milestones, they would stop the game and have like an on ice interview. So
Mm,
like Yager scored, I think it was when he was on the Bruins actually, like a career point. He had an assist and it bounced off his butt and went to someone and then they scored. And he like talked about that in the interview. He was like, I was expecting something more than this, but like
yeah,
whatever, it's a point.
yeah. I
that's
know
funny.
they didn't do any of that for any of like I like he got like yeah, he got like
Got
800
second.
goals, and then he got like second most. They didn't stop the game or do anything for that, but I honestly would not be surprised
They
if
have
they
to.
do for like taking number one.
Yeah, I think they do something. Imagine it's like overtime goal or overtime on the power play or something, like
Hmm.
especially if it's at home. Like if it's away when he does it, I think that would be a lot less fun. But
Yeah,
like obviously the home fans will still like clap and everything, because it's like, he's
yeah.
still
I mean, yeah,
respected for being one of the purest like goal scorers of all time. But it's
yeah.
definitely more
Imagine
fun
like
in front of
the
Caps.
ticket prices just as he gets like 1 or 2 goals away.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Well,
just
so that's what I
exponential.
yeah. So I think so. He's not. What is it? It's like 70 some goals he made.
73, I think.
73.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um.
not this season unless something
Yeah.
crazy happens.
I can get, unless he like get some stem cell treatment or something. I
Yeah,
don't know, but not this season. So I think next season, and if he doesn't make it next season, then certainly the season after. I imagine season ticket prices will actually go up
yeah,
because I mean it's going to happen in one of those seasons, and if you can secure your seat at that game, I think people will pay extra at the start for it.
definitely.
Mhm. Or sell it. You buy this is what you do, Sam. You buy your season ticket next year and you start selling up into
Honestly, I could probably buy 2 season tickets and just sell the one game to someone else.
Pay off the other season
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah, it'll buy that entire season ticket. Um, but yeah, so I don't know, because I was thinking that if I can't afford a full season ticket this year, I'll get one next year or the year after. But now I realize that maybe those will be uh even more expensive, and it might be like 4 years before I can get a season ticket.
I mean,
Yeah.
even like one game, one goal away, I feel like the cheapest tickets can't be more than like $200. Like a random game in February.
Yeah, right.
And if it's in like Arizona or something.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That would be cool because if they still be playing at Mullet at that point, so like going to that arena and seeing like such an intimate like experience, like you'd be that
He'd be
close.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what seat you got, he's
And then there'd be a historic photo with like in like a college arena.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, with
Oh, if
the
it's an
shared
outdoor
logo.
game, that would
Oh,
be
that
the pinnacle.
would be cool.
that would be cool. An
Yeah.
outdoor milestone like that, yeah. Which probably unlikely considering they just played in an outdoor game this past season. So they
Yeah. I don't.
probably won't have them in another one
Well, with
again.
the stadium series, there's like a bunch every year now, so who knows? In 2 years, they might just have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've got the Heritage Classic game this year, which is in like I think October, and then they've got this. I think they've got the Winter Classic, and then they've got two Stadium Series matches, um, this year. So they'll have four total outdoor games this year, or this
I feel like they
season.
never advertise those well. I never find out about them until like a day or two before. Obviously, Winter Classic, because it's the same day every year.
Yeah,
But like the other ones are like, oh, they're playing outdoors today. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think I found about the Stadium Series last year because the Caps announcers were talking about it like a week or two in advance.
mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I think we mentioned this in another episode, but they're like once again doing it where they're scheduling like other games on the days like that they're
Oh,
having the Stadium Series and stuff. It's like, why? Like, if you want this to be like a pinnacle event and have a bunch of people watch it, like you gotta make sure that those are the only games that day, or at least like have it where they have their own time slot or something. Like maybe it's a matinee and then you have later games in the day, but it's just they're shooting themselves in the foot unless they only really care about selling the tickets for the people that are at the game, like in person,
Yeah.
and then they don't really care about the TV ratings. But
I feel like they do the same thing sometimes with like the same time as a big football game or whatever. It's like, why are you trying to even compete with other
yeah,
sports?
yeah. Well, didn't they just start that last season where they would have games that had overlapping time slots with football? Um,
Maybe.
because I remember I was watching an interview with whoever the commissioner is.
Gary
Um,
Bettman.
yeah. Well, so yeah, they were one of the questions was like, so you're in more direct competition for viewership with football this year than before, and he was like, yeah, oh, the numbers are about what we expected, but we're expecting it to rise in years to come. So I think they're like the NHL is trying to push towards those uh towards trying to like actually take a market share uh from other sports, but I we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. How ambitious.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think they usually don't have a game on the same day as the Super Bowl. Maybe
Right.
sometimes they do, but it's like, yeah, like
Not at
don't
the
even.
same time. They'll like stop before whatever.
Yeah, like yeah, they may be
They
able
won't
to
have it
have
that
it
night.
like in the morning or something, but it's like forget about it. Like you're not gonna get anybody to tune into that, and you're not gonna get anybody to go. Well, somebody will go to the games, but like
Cheap tickets.
yeah, but it's like yeah, it's the freaking Super Bowl, and they usually don't do any games on Thanksgiving either because of football also. I think they've
Well, I
had
think
some
that's also in
Christmas
the that
games
might be in
though.
the CBA, honestly,
Yeah,
to
that
like
that
not
could be where the
play.
players don't want to play on Thanksgiving. Do they have games on Canadian Thanksgiving?
No
I don't know
idea.
Maybe all the
Canadian thing.
American teams get to play. I honestly don't. When is Canadian Thanksgiving?
Like
I
the
didn't.
same like a week or two before.
I had no
It's
different.
October 9th this year. So,
Oh,
yeah, it's not. Actually, so they won't even have any games yet this year. Because I think sometimes it does fall. Um, second Monday in October. Okay, so they have a similar setup as we do, where it's just a weird day like that. But I think maybe they don't normally have games. But anyways, a weird situation.
all right. You want to hear my hockey question that you've been waiting so long for?
Oh yes.
I want Sam to answer first.
Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah.
All right. So you're building a new team from the ground up, a hockey team.
Oh, okay.
Um, and you can choose this a one type of player to build it around. You can either choose a center who will score consistently 150 goals every year,
Okay.
or you have one defender who, whenever they're on the ice, the other team will not score.
Well, I mean, probably a defender because I mean he might get tired, but keep him out
You're
there.
gonna
You
have
know?
him out there for 60 minutes a night.
Yeah. I mean, if the rule is that they can't score while he's out there,
Well, he
you
can
know,
still get
why
like
would I take him
injured
off?
and fatigued, and you know,
Yeah. I mean, until he gets injured, I guess. But I'm
so you're
keeping
just
him
gonna
out
like
there as much as possible,
run him
and
into
I
the
know against
ground for
someone he can
20
score.
games and then just rest him for the playoffs if you make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going with the defender.
Okay,
Yeah.
Brendan.
Well, I feel like I not only because Sam said the defender, but also I feel like as far as marketing goes, like it would be
Yeah.
so much more fun to have a 150 goal scorer on your team. Like this is superstar, mega guy. Like even people that don't follow hockey know this guy, and
Yeah.
like you could sell so many jerseys and eventually I think with just that pure offensive talent, like you still will probably win the cup unless like you have to pay him so much that you can't build the rest of a team around him. But like like that if we're at 150 goals a season, we're talking max amount of money per CBA per the contract. I would think like unless it's just not feasible. But yeah, I think just for the entertainment factor alone, a lot of franchises would be lining up to sign that guy.
Yeah, I think I'd go with the defender because just as far as a team more likely to win, because you can get away with 30 minutes a night probably. So half the time the other team's not scoring,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when he's not on the ice, you can have probably a decent. You can have two other like a top pair that isn't him that can probably like hold their own, and then you can get two or three goals a night. And if the other team's only getting like one or two, I think you can squeak by with a lot of wins. And then yeah, I don't know. The other thing would be, yeah, even just marketing the 150 goal player, you'd also be marketing games that are like 7-5 every night or whatever.
yeah, yeah. That's
Um.
true.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've seen the the Oilers have like a only slightly less impressive version of your 150
Well,
goal.
just put two of them together, and there you go.
Yeah, well, they have two of them,
Yeah.
They do have two
and,
of
and
them.
they're still not winning. I mean, they're winning, but
They're
it's not enough.
they're making strides, but
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't go to the conference finals this year again. Um, and we'll see. I think it sounds like from what like McDavid has been saying in the offseason stuff, like they are and Draisaitl too, like those guys are like absolutely fired up. They're like it's like it's enough at this point. So I think a lot of people
Brendan,
are pushing for them.
would your answer change if it was 75 goals and 75 assists?
Oh,
Hmm.
Still the same
75.
output,
I mean, 70.
not
I
as
mean, that's
marketable.
that's still crazy. Yeah, like that's above what we have right now, at least as far as goal totals. Like McDavid had 150 points last year, but he didn't have 75 goals. He was close, honestly, but um, mm, nah, I think I'll probably stick with it. I mean, like maybe realistically the defender is like the more practical choice, but yeah, I think it would be really fun. And I like defense too, but
Right.
yeah, I think it would be still probably go with the
Defense wins
with the generational
championships.
guy.
All right, 0 goals, 150 assists.
Oh God, that would be a strange player.
Yeah.
Like who was it on the Islanders? There was like not maybe it was Barzal or someone
Oh
like
yeah,
had like
Barzell.
30 assists before they scored a goal or
Yeah,
something.
that happened last season. Yeah, it was so strange at the beginning of the year. He just was not putting it in the back of the net, but he was getting points. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, like maybe score one at some point here, please. Like, what are we paying you for?
Hmm.
So now we'll see a full season of him and Horvat hopefully together. That'll be one of the only interesting time or storylines going into the Islanders season this year because it's like, you know, there's not much else going on with the Islanders. Sorry, Zane. I haven't addressed it yet, but I am. Yeah, I'm wearing my Stars jersey because I don't know if you guys have seen my bracket video that I put on the channel, but I do have the Stars as my Cup champs for my preseason bracket right now over the Bruins. Sorry, Dean. I do have them making it all the way though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the Stars are your second team, so it's kind of a win-win for you. Although like you would still feel like strangely about that, I'm sure, if that happened.
Yeah. I also want to put on the record that even though I'm a Stars fan, I'm not a Jamie Benn fan.
Okay, good. Good. Glad we got that
We
on there.
we don't like him.
Um so yeah, I have Stars over Bruins in 6, and that I can quickly go over the teams that I have making it. So I've got for the West, I've got Stars, Avalanche, Wild as the 1, 2, 3 in the Central, and then I've got the Flames as the wild card 2, and then for the Pacific, I've got the Oilers, the Knights, and the Kings, and then the Kraken as the wild card 1. And then I have the Leafs as the President's Trophy winners, Panthers at 2, Sabres at 3 for the Atlantic, and then Devils at 1 for Metro, Hurricanes, Rangers, and then Lightning are wild card 1, and Bruins I have wild card 2. So I do still have the Bruins, obviously. Which I don't know if this is a crazy playoff bracket. I think this is pretty much in line. Like,
Not as
there's
crazy as
always the
Owens.
recency bias.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Owens
was that
different.
sincere? Like, did he actually believe what he put?
I don't know.
He always just throws them on there because he's one of the delusional Sens fans, and they
Yeah.
always seem to be a lot more optimistic than they probably should be. But maybe it'll work out this year. I mean, if you keep throwing blindfolded at the target, eventually you're gonna get a bullseye.
Yeah. Me personally, like, I believe it's possible that the Caps make it to the first round, but no further. I think what did he had them losing in the semis or
The Sens, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd like, yeah. If the Caps did make it, I would be surprised if they were able to get out of the first round. But it is one of the things we talk about, like especially with the Panthers last year. Like all you got to do is get in, and that's what I have with the Bruins in my preseason bracket too. I've got them as a wild card too. I've got them beating the President's Trophy Maple Leafs because of course, and then I've got them trudging their way through to the finals.
When you
Mhm.
think about it, the Panthers were President's Trophy winners last year, lost in the first round.
Yep.
Bruins were this year, lost in the first round, and then maybe they'll follow on the Panthers to make it to the finals.
Which is part of the reason why I had the Panthers as the Cup champions in my preseason bracket last year, is because they were the President's Trophy winners the year before that. So, yeah, I'm in line with that again this year, but I don't have them winning.
As far as playoff brackets go, like the actual ones before playoffs start, normally I have the Bruins going out in the first round and they do pretty well. And then last year I'm like, I just can't see them losing to any of these teams. I'm putting them in the finals, and then there we go, out in the first round. So
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
preseason bracket, I have them just losing in the first round. I guess I can probably share that.
Yeah, that can probably be arranged.
Mm,
Oh,
there it is.
do I have to click this still? Oh, okay. We'll see if that shows up.
You can start with the East. I have Toronto as the 1 seed. I don't think there's anything crazy there.
Yep. I think a
And
lot of people
Florida
said
and Tampa. I think
Tampa.
that'll be
Okay.
a fun
Rematch.
series. And then Buffalo is the wild card one because I think obviously they've gotten better,
Mhm.
but I could see them also missing the playoffs. That's kind of the one where we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Could go either way because I mean, the last 2 or 3 years they have a good start and then they just fall off, but
Yeah.
they're due eventually.
They're
And then I
overdue.
have the Bruins as my wild card too, just squeaking in. I think they go like I don't know, maybe like 45 and 48 or something, and then whatever overtime wins like in the 90s for points. Um, and then playing the President's Trophy winning Canes. And then we have Devils and Rangers. Then on the West, we got Colorado, Seattle again, Dallas, Minnesota, Edmonton Kings again, and then Vegas, Calgary. I know Calgary's, I feel like pretty polarizing. Some people think they got worse. Some people think they'll be better. I mean, last year they had multiple players who underperformed, and I guess it depends if you think that's telling of how they'll continue, or if you think it was just a slump and they'll bounce back. So I think they're not going to be that bad again, and they'll make it in. Only to the first round though. But
Yeah, that's what I have
I guess
also.
going back to the East, Toronto beats Buffalo. Tampa beats Florida.
Oof.
Carolina beats Boston in 7. I think this would be a series similar to the one they had 2 years ago,
2 years
where
ago.
each team only won on home ice, and obviously Carolina would have home ice here.
Yeah.
I had to put at least one sweep, so Devils over the Rangers.
Mm.
Carolina takes care of them again in 7. Toronto in 7 finally makes it another round, and slowly but surely making it one more round, but that's as far as they get. Carolina beats them to go to the finals. And then in the West, we have Colorado over Seattle this time, Dallas
The
over
run back.
Minnesota, because I think I agreed with what you had in your video where Minnesota's a playoff team, but that's about it.
Yeah, and
Um,
some people do have them dropping out, but I just
I couldn't
I
think of
can't
who
get
to
there yet.
put in, but I don't know. Maybe you think the Kings take a step back or something, or Seattle. I don't know,
Some
but
people have thought about the Kings dropping out. I think they're being like a little bit underrated, even though I don't like the Kings. Like I still think they are good, but they did
mhm,
lose some guys with the Dubois trade.
yeah. And then they have Edmonton over the Kings in 7, Vegas over Calgary in 6, Edmonton beating Vegas, Edmonton beating Colorado, and then Edmonton losing to Carolina in 6.
A
And there's
rematch, an Edmonton
there's our winner.
Carolina rematch,
Yep.
and Carolina comes out on top again.
So that is the correct bracket for this coming
Oh,
year.
good.
I gotta say, I find very little to disagree with on that one. It was refreshing after the only other one I've actually seen is Owens. So
Yeah,
Do we want to just talk about Owens real quick?
yeah.
But should we wait and have him defend it?
And I did fix the
Oh
formatting on
yeah.
there because it was
yeah,
driving me crazy. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. I
yeah.
could not believe how like it was like intentionally done that way, I
It
swear.
must have been. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
it was brutal. But he also has despite some of the weirdness, he does have the same final as you, but different outcome.
He does, yeah. So I guess I'll just quickly touch on a few. So on the East, Carolina and the Islanders. So the Islanders, you could argue that one's not the craziest.
It's not
Like they
crazy
could make it. He
like
has
they
them as
made it
wild
last
card
year.
one, and then he has New Jersey and the Rangers, which is what I have. So that nor like sensible.
Yep.
And he has Toronto as the President's Trophy winners against the wild card two Ottawa Senators. We'll get back to that shortly. And then he has Tampa Bay versus Buffalo. So not too crazy, except Ottawa would be like the one thing where it's like that's a stretch. Everything is like okay, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but like you could argue it.
Yeah.
On the West, he has Colorado playing the Chicago Blackhawks as the wild card two
Yeah.
team.
Uh,
Dallas versus Minnesota, sure. Edmonton versus Seattle. Vegas versus LA. So the playoff teams, Islanders, Ottawa, kind of weird, and Chicago way out there.
Oh yeah.
So now we'll go back to the East and move on to the matchups. He has Carolina over the Islanders in 4, sweep, perfect.
Perfect.
The Devils over the Rangers in 6, sure. Ottawa upsetting the Toronto Maple Leafs in 7, which I would love.
Oh yeah, I mean,
To
I would
go
love to
on,
watch that series if it does happen. Like, no
and
doubt.
Ottawa will play Tampa Bay, who beats Buffalo. And then continuing on in the East, you have Carolina versus New Jersey. Carolina wins. Ottawa versus Tampa. Ottawa clearly wins and moves on
Obviously.
to the semifinals to play Carolina, who then beats Ottawa to go on to the finals.
Oh.
And then in the West, he does have Colorado beating Chicago,
Yeah,
so
thank God.
in another sweep. And then Dallas beats Minnesota, Edmonton beats Seattle, LA beats Vegas. And then from there, coming out of the West, you have Edmonton beating Carolina in the finals. So after the whole Ottawa fiasco and just the Islanders and Chicago in the playoffs, it's all pretty normal. So there's really 3 teams that are questionable, and one team that happens to be his favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could
going
certainly
on.
be more outlandish, but yeah, I
It's
think
fun though. It's a fun practice.
Chicago's definitely out there pick. Like, definitely overrating the value of Bedard in his rookie year. Like, has he seen the rest of the roster?
I don't think Bedard in his prime could carry that team to the
like
playoffs.
just look at the roster and like see how many names you even like recognize. Really, it's like, okay, so we've got for our first pairing, we've got or for our first line, we got probably Bedard, maybe Hall, and then like Athanasiou. It's like you're already not off to a great start. They just got so many young guys, and then their
They have
goalie
Nick
kind of.
Foligno to lead the locker room and Bruins legend Taylor Hall.
Yeah, there you go. And then your goalies are Peter Mrazek and a rookie goalie Arvid Soderblom, who had some looks last year, but like I don't know how
They
you
have
can.
Corey Perry too.
Yeah, they did sign Perry. I don't know how you can look at this. They got Donato too. They also signed. It's like
And
I don't
Seth
know how you can
Jones
look at
on his
this.
9.5 AAV to the 2029-2030
Yeah.
season.
Oh my gosh, they freaking overpaid for him.
Oh, they have Tenorti too. They have all the old Bruins.
Oh yeah, they're
I didn't even
loading
know
up.
Tenorti was on that team.
And
It was a waiver claim.
I forgot that for last year's bracket for Justin, he did he just rolled some dice in order
Oh
to
yeah.
roll the teams. That was very funny because he had Chicago as the 1 seed in the West. Or no, he had them 1 seed in the Central last year, which everyone was already like, oh my gosh. And then he had Buffalo as the 1 seed for the East, which it's funny because it did end up still giving the cup to St. Louis last year, which is his team. So
That's funny.
it did not work out, and then Zane hasn't done his bracket for this year yet. But I think like these are all pretty reasonable. Like, at least Dean and I's are both pretty reasonable takes for the most part. Owens is, a little optimistic, but it's not that outlandish except for Chicago, I would say. And then, yeah, I'd imagine, Sam, you would have something relatively similar, at least as far as your eventual
I,
outcomes.
mine would look mostly like Dean's, but I'd have to put the Caps in the first round just because
Sure.
they would lose.
Get them in
But I'd
there.
put, yeah,
Yeah, I think that would appease a lot of fans just to see them get back, even though like
yeah,
every time that they've made it in after they won the cup, they lost in the first round. But
right back out. Yeah,
same with the Penguins too.
yeah,
Um, well, ever since the Caps won.
yeah.
Not since the Penguins won, because they obviously went to the second round the year that the Caps won. The Demons
Yeah.
were exercised, as the Caps radio announcer
Mhm.
famously said.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pens, like what they broke the longest streak of making the postseason.
Yeah, was it 16 or 17 seasons, something like
I
that?
think 16, yeah.
Yeah,
16 seasons straight.
And this year, Buffalo's
pretty
going to
crazy.
break the longest active streak of not being in the playoffs.
Yeah, 12,
How what they're at, wow.
12 seasons without playoffs. It would, yeah. You got to feel for them.
Yeah.
You
I
got
don't
to
know
feel
how
for
who
'em.
can really like hate Buffalo.
No, yeah, it's like,
You just feel bad.
yeah,
I got
like all the Atlantic teams are like, just make the playoffs, please. Like,
yeah,
just
well, actually we'll lose so that you can go.
yeah,
Yeah.
pass
Yeah,
the
I have
torch.
family in Buffalo, so I feel like I have reason to root for them,
Yep.
but I've never actually met that family, so
Well, now you have an excuse. You can go to a game.
There you
that's
go.
true.
Go to a playoff game. Ooh,
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh. Yeah.
much.
They have some
It's
pretty
much
hardcore
needed.
fans. Like those would sell out quick. But yeah, like
Oh
Yeah, I
first
yeah,
mean,
round playoffs.
up there, yeah, you gotta be.
Just Buffalo sports in general. Like I mean, look at the Bills.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bills are my secondary NFL team.
Nice.
Bills Mafia.
Yeah,
Bills are my football team.
We don't
nice.
talk about my football team.
Yeah,
Not this week.
No.
yeah.
Can't
Well,
wait for the season opener this weekend.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't
yeah.
know why
First
they're
game of
cutting
the
so late.
year.
Normally they play the Cowboys too, but I don't know what happened this year.
Yeah, they only played them once this year. That's weird.
Uh, yeah. Oh wait, the game started. Yeah, Eagles are playing right now, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a relevant game for both of us.
Yep.
But um, yeah, I don't know. It's a hockey podcast, but like, yeah, I don't know how to feel about the Commanders now that we got our a fresh young quarterback. But we he looks promising. He hasn't been really tested, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to be worse than we've been in previous years.
Our
So,
whole division is just so so sad.
mhm.
Yeah, I'd say the Cardinals are definitely not a good litmus test for how well uh, Sam or yeah, what's his name? Sam Howell.
How
Yeah.
yeah.
So how well he's gonna do, but they did get the W, so that's more
Yeah.
than some, or should I say, one NFC East team can say. Can say.
Infinitely more points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
maybe.
Uh, yeah. I don't know. Uh, I feel like the I haven't seen him win a season opener in a while, but it could be because I just haven't watched the season opener.
Hasn't been much of a reason to tune in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna change the name again? Because I heard that the Commanders like name did not get like trademarked by them or something, so they might have to change the
Well,
name again.
oh, is that what I heard that there were a bunch of names that they did like, but then people had bought up the trademarks
Oh, jeez.
just so that they could sell
Funny.
them to the organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hadn't heard that Commanders there was an issue with that one other than everybody hates it.
Yeah,
I think they should
it has my
trademark the
moments too.
Washington football team. I like that one.
I liked
Yeah,
it too. I
I
think that
liked
was,
it.
that was great. Yeah,
I have a Washington football team T-shirt just because of that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
No,
you
I'm
also
in
have
support.
a shirt that says college
Yeah, yeah.
or a hoodie or whatever.
yeah.
Good one.
No, yeah, I thought Washington football team was cool. It was a different take
It's so
on
edgy.
yeah. It felt like soccer, because it's
Yeah,
like the Liverpool Football Club or whatever
right.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Washington FT.
yeah, yeah.
Real Washington.
Oh, now that's a good one.
There you go.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it better than Commanders anyway.
It's absolutely better than Commanders.
It's hilarious.
Like it just has like no identity to it really at all. Like I don't think anyone has like really like fully embraced that name. I mean, I'm sure some diehard Washington fans who've been, following the team for years are like, yeah, like whatever they call themselves because I'm from this area, like I'll support them no matter what, but
Yeah,
like
I think those fans are still calling them the former name.
the reskins,
Yeah.
yeah. That's probably true.
But yeah, I don't know if I mean, Snyder's out of there, which like, we gotta celebrate
Get
that.
him
But
out of
yeah, I
there.
don't, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna change the name again. The one that got thrown out there was like the red tails after like a red tail hawk. Um,
Yeah, I heard that one.
that was pretty cool. I think people just want to steer away from using red in the name.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard
So
like red wolves and things. Yeah, like when
Red Wolves. I like that one, but there's not really a geographic connection to
no,
Red Wolves in the
not particularly.
DMV. Yeah.
Yeah, they like before they picked commanders, they had like a list of like 8 names or something like that. I think those two were on there. They had like brigade on there and a couple of like presidents and stuff. And it's
I think
like
Brigade would be cool.
brigade would be kind of cool. I think.
One of those few team names that doesn't have the S at the end. I always
Yeah,
like
which
those.
that's kind of cool.
I feel like
Like the
it
Cram.
sounds like an arena football name.
A little bit,
So what?
yeah,
Yeah. Um.
but I think it's better than commanders.
Yeah. Well, everything is. So they could just be the Washington blank.
The
And
Washingtons.
yeah, they're just the Washingtons. That's better.
The Washington Monuments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Honestly, the monuments,
the
I like
DCs.
that better.
Yeah, you could have a. I think you could have a pretty fun mascot if you were the monuments. Have
Right? Yeah.
some guy dressed up like the Bill from Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh yeah. You could do a huge collab with Schoolhouse Rock. That would be
Absolutely. The Capitol's name isn't going anywhere. That's a
no, and that's a good one.
that's a
I,
great
I,
one.
I yeah.
And they
Are there
play
any
in
Um,
Capital
NHL
One.
teams you'd want renamed?
hmm?
Are there any NHL teams that you would want renamed?
I want the Thrashers back.
Just any team, you just replace the
I
name.
mean, particularly the Jets, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'll take any team. Yeah, whichever, whoever's willing to give it up. Yeah.
Speaking of the Jets, I feel like I'd give them a new name. The Jets is a boring name.
Well, I mean, are you just saying that because you're your football counterpart?
No, I feel like Jets is just, I don't know, a
And I
little
think
boring name.
if their current home logo wasn't being used, like if they had a better Jets logo, like if they went with the original one or something, it might be a little bit better. But like yeah, it's tough because I just don't love their current branding. But like I think I'm okay with Jets as still like a name, because it's a little bit different. It's not necessarily like an animal or something like that. It's
Yeah.
a little bit different. It's not like I mean it's not like calling them like the trucks or something, but it is still like a vehicle sort of thing. Bit different though.
Mhm.
But I don't know if there's any team name that I really don't like. I mean, I
Those are
do
hard
think
with like
Oilers is a little weird, but it's like just so historic at this point. It's like,
right. Even like teams like the Ducks, like just because you're so used to it, and like the Mighty Ducks and stuff. Like,
yeah,
why are the Ducks like a? It's just like a seems like a non-threatening, just like weird name for a team. But like you're so used to it that it's hard to think of anything else.
yeah. Was it on the Vegas Arizona trip that I was like thinking of like brand new team names for
I
like all the
think so.
franchises, and it
Yeah.
was definitely starting to get tricky, like because I couldn't reuse any of the names, and I couldn't use anything that's used in any of the other big four sports, and it definitely
Right.
gets like difficult when you
You have to
start
get pretty
you start
creative.
thinking about it. Yeah, it's like, oh my, especially when you're like trying to have it related to the city or the location and stuff.
Yeah.
It gets tough to think of something that hasn't already been used and it sounds cool and it's marketable and things like that.
Mhm.
So
Like even like
it's not easy.
the name the Bruins, like that's kind of a weird one. It's
Yeah,
like why that specific type of pair?
I
But like
was
it's
thinking
just
that too.
it's
Yeah,
been for over 100 years. It's like you don't question it.
yeah,
There's some weird names for like the original teams before the NHL was formed, and like if they had stuck around, you wouldn't think anything of it either.
yep, yeah. That's true. Like the Millionaires and the Metropolitans and
Yeah,
there's a couple other like the Maroons and stuff.
yeah. Just gonna see if I could find
Those
some of
really old
them.
teams.
The Montreal Wanderers. That's such a cool
Yeah, the
name.
Wanderers. Yep.
Toronto Arenas.
That one would be a really weird one in the modern era, and they do throwbacks to the arenas, but yeah,
Quebec Bulldogs. Toronto St. Patrick's. St. Pat's.
St. Louis Eagles. That one's already being used though.
Hamilton Tigers. That one's lame.
Yeah, Tigers. That one's already
The
being
New
used.
York Americans.
Like yeah, like it. I could see that one like sticking around through time, but it is
Yeah.
a little bit weird.
The
They have
Maroons.
the
And the
Canadian.
Pittsburgh Pirates were an NHL
It's
team.
like the Patriots, the Quakers.
Mm.
That was an old franchise, Philadelphia.
Detroit Falcons.
Detroit Falcons.
1930 to 1931. Yeah,
19.
Philadelphia Quakers.
Oh, 1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, no, then the next year they were also still the Falcons. They switched to the Red Wings in 1932.
32. Gosh, that's old.
The good old days.
Yeah, speaking of the Bruins and old, the Centennial jerseys are going to be revealed in a couple days here
Oh yeah, did you see the
on
thing they
Saturday.
posted on Twitter? Like the 100
Like
players
the
or whatever?
teaser. Oh no, you're
Yeah.
talking about the 100. Yeah, the 100 like legendary Bruins players.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. People were kind of like sad about the artwork though. Like, some of the people do not look great. They're like
I
caricatures.
I thought for the most part they actually looked pretty good. I'm sure there were a couple like Tuca's forehead was definitely very large. Um,
I didn't study any of them too much, but
but yeah, I think overall it looked pretty good. I'm sure there's
yeah.
always going to be people who are, questioning some of the picks. Like I think a lot of people wanted Adam McQuaid in there instead of like some guys. Like they were not sure about having Phil Kessel and Joe Thornton in there just because
Right.
of their like history with the team after the fact. Like
Hmm.
obviously Thornton and Kessel didn't stick around too long, but I think they probably did a good job with it for the most part. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rest of the announcements come out. I think we have a pretty good understanding of what the jerseys are going to look like at this point, based on like the sneak preview and some like renderings and speculation and stuff. So I think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him though.
Yeah,
Officially.
and there's three too, so it's like you got a lot to look. I don't know if they're gonna be like those are the only three jerseys that they wear this year, or if they're gonna be like throwing in all three and then still having their like There are three
I
that
mean,
they're
they just
currently
had so
wearing.
many new jerseys. Like last year, they had like the Pooh Bear. Well, they had the Winter Classic and
Yeah,
the Pooh Bear and the Meth Bear last year.
yeah, they had a lot. They had 5 different jerseys last year.
Yeah.
I think
So
I
I don't know,
think
like,
Carolina used like 6 or maybe even 7 because
yeah.
they had the Stadium Series, they had the Reverse Retro, they had the Whalers jersey that they wear like once or twice a year, and then I think maybe they had one other one that they wore too. Oh, well, they had the 25th anniversary, and then yeah, so I think it was 6, but which I think is the most that any team has ever worn in one year, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, different different stuff. So I feel like they'll probably just wear the Centennial 3, like the ones that they reveal for the full year. But we'll see if they do that.
It always threw me off. Like there were games where the Bruins wear their dark jerseys at away games, or vice versa.
Mm.
Like their whites at home, and like it'd take me like halfway through the first. I'm like, wait, this is an away game because I'm just like looking at the jerseys and not thinking to like look at the ice or the crowd or
Yeah,
whatever. I'm like, oh,
yeah. You get so accustomed to
yeah.
associating the coloring with home or away, which we were talking about that. I think it was last episode
Hmm.
about how they used to wear the whites at home and the darks away. But
Sam, when you get your jersey, you can get a home jersey or an away jersey
I
or
see.
an
I
alternate.
like some of the whites, but no, I'd probably get a home jersey.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe after a couple of years of Fanatics having the jerseys, the Caps will probably do some sort of a rebrand. Like, I think them and maybe a couple other teams are probably due for one. And I feel like, yeah, just like their logo is not super inspiring. Like, it's not even really much
Not
of
a
a
lot
logo.
on the jersey either. It's like
Yeah.
pretty plain.
I don't. I do like
Like the secondary
the
logo is good, which I think that's what they used for the Stadium Series one, right? It's just like a blown up white eagle, which is basically like the secondary logo that they wear
well,
on the shoulder.
yeah, but I don't know. I like the W on the blue background
Me.
with
The
the stars of it.
the
I think
alternate one
yeah.
that was not too
Um,
bad.
I think it looks clean. It's yeah maybe not exciting, but that I think because I don't think I can afford a stadium series. Is probably what I would default to. As a Caps jersey. I think that's my favorite of the current offerings.
Yeah, and that one's not too bad. It is. I would agree that it's yeah more of a cleaner look. But I don't know. Just the W doesn't really do a lot for me. But I'm sure if I was a Caps fan, I would be more interested in it probably. And I think the coloring is better than just the red that they have on the home jerseys.
Yeah, but I know you're wearing a big W on your chest. Like that's I mean that's cocky. You know, it's like yeah,
Yeah.
I've already got the W.
And then you've got an L on the back for them to see as you're skating by them.
Mm.
Yeah, this is what you get. Yeah.
It's like like a lot of the Adidas jerseys, like the inside collar has like a design on it, but it's like nobody can see it if you're wearing it.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's for the person to see when they put it on, and that's it. But it is
I
kind
like
of
that
cool that they
though.
do it though.
Mhm.
I know the Islanders on their like alternate jersey they have like something on the back collar that says like Islanders, which is kind of different. I don't know if any other teams do that, but yeah, it's cool when teams incorporate like those tiny little details in there that maybe you don't notice like right away.
Mhm.
We're getting close to training camps and like we talked about
Prospect
before the
game
episode.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
at least for the
we got
Bruins.
rookie tournaments, and then yeah we'll start getting into who actually signs a contract from the PTOS, and then a couple. There's still a couple outstanding RFAs and a couple UFAs too. I'm surprised that Zegras has not gotten to an agreement at this point, but I think there's a bit of a discrepancy in the term. I think he's probably looking for a bridge bridge deal, or maybe 3 or 4 years, and they're probably trying to look for 7 or 8. So that might be the hold up.
That's one thing I'll say about the Sanders is I think they did a really good job like locking up all their young guys
Yeah,
and like
they just
I
locked
mean
up
I
Sanderson.
don't think they're a playoff team this year or a team making it to the semifinals, but I think that in the next 10 years they're they're looking good at to win a cup. Like they're rebuilding the right way.
There's definitely reasons to like what they're doing. Yeah, they're they're finally signing all of these prospects that had they've been slowly acquiring with all these bad seasons, and now pretty much all of them are going to be in the roster at this point. And then I think maybe Ridley Gregg is kind of like one of the last ones that they're really looking for to come in as far as top prospects. So
And at this point, like most of the young guys have played a few years, and like you can tell, like they're actually a good prospect at this point, like young player, and it's not like they're just gonna fall off a cliff.
yeah,
It's not like they just have a bunch of young people all coming in at a high ceiling or whatever, but could still drop off. Like they have proven young talent. So
definitely.
even if some of their other prospects don't turn out when their current players go into their prime, like they're still going to be a good team, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like Stutzel is legit. Norris is legit. He has to come
Patterson,
back this year. Yeah, they just locked up Sanderson, and they've got Shabbat already under contract too. So um, they've got a good foundation there, and they just got to find the right pieces. They still got Giroux. I don't know if he'll still be there at the time when they're like legitimately competing for the cup or not. But and they signed Tarasenko too, so maybe we are sleeping on them a little bit more than we should. We should be drinking the Owen Kool-Aid.
I mean, they're getting better for sure. I just think it's still too soon.
Yeah,
Like there's like people thinking a couple years ago that Buffalo was a playoff team, and it's like they're on the right path. They're just not there yet.
yeah, yeah.
And
Which I
like
think.
I mean, even this year they might miss, and it's like I'm still just getting too ahead of it. It takes time. Like look at Detroit. I think we've talked about them in previous episodes too, where like it looked like they were doing the right thing, and like Iserman taking it slow and rebuilding the right way, and it just hasn't panned out yet.
Yeah,
So you never
and
know.
and unfortunately, like all three of those teams are sort of on the same timeline, so they're all competing against each other. Plus, all of the already really good teams in the East. So
A lot of the really good teams are gonna probably take a step back. I don't think the Bruins are gonna go into a full rebuild anytime soon, and I
no,
don't know like Toronto either, Tampa, like those teams. I don't think have that in the plan for the next decade either. It's probably going to be kind of retooled, but I mean, who knows 10 years from now?
if Toronto keeps like trading their first rounders and not having success, I think eventually they might have to because they just won't be able to roster
They've been
competitive enough team.
People have been saying blow it up for years. I don't know if they'll ever do it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see if they finally like trade one of the core four or something like that.
Yeah.
But they already signed Matthews to that extension, and it sounds like Nylander really wants to play there still, even though he hasn't signed the extension. So they're probably gonna be still pretty good for at least 2 or 3 more years, would be my guess.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly. Are you a Leafs hater too, Sam?
I can be.
Great, welcome
Yeah.
aboard.
Yeah.
There's there's plenty of room on the Leafs hate bandwagon.
Yeah. No, I'll hop on.
Nice.
Gladly. Yeah, I don't really have well, depends. I hate the Pens, but
Oh, me too.
yeah.
I was
But
happy to see this the streak, and as much as it was like really cool to see, but yeah, like I'm just not a Penguins enjoyer, so
no, I definitely had mixed feelings about it. Just from a historical perspective, it's cool that the streak was going, but also they suck, and I hate them.
yeah, I mean
So
they were wasting a spot in the playoffs every year because they kept bowing out in the first round. So it's like, let's get some new blood in here, somebody who at least we haven't seen in a while and maybe could compete to get to the next round,
yeah,
because that's what you're looking for. You want to see some actual good first round matchups. You want to see some fierce competitors. You don't want to see somebody just fall into a playoff spot and then they just putz out. They don't do anything. So I think there's going to be some serious competition, like legitimately 20 or so teams that should be all fighting for playoff spots. Probably more than that, maybe closer to like 24 that are like legitimately see themselves as playoff contenders, which is always good.
Yeah.
So healthy spot for the most part for the league, at least as far as teams and structure and things like that. I'm sure there's plenty of other things with the league that are not good as far as off the ice, but we'll save that for another episode. What do you think?
Sure. Or never. We just don't. We don't need to talk about it ever.
Yeah, we probably don't need
Perfect,
to.
right?
You guys know. You guys know already. Well, this was a fun episode, Sam. We appreciate you hopping on today, taking time out of your busy schedule there, and we'll be pushing for you to have some meaningful games this year.
Well, yeah, me too. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's just fun.
And hopefully you have better luck watching live hockey than Brendan does
Yeah.
for really having your team win.
Well,
Yeah, I was thinking about going to a game with you, but I don't know if that's the right
Well,
move.
just root for the other team.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we can do that.
Root for the team that's playing against the Caps, and then Ovi will probably score 3 or 4 goals, and they'll win like 8-0.
Yeah, I'll be sure to bring you to all the games actually.
Yeah. Come on,
But
Red, let's go. We gotta get another Caps W.
Last
I'm not
year
even
during the playoffs, I had
watching
Brendan
it.
wear jerseys of the other team that the Bruins were playing.
Yeah.
Was it last year? I don't remember. I was
It didn't work
like,
out.
you need to
though.
wear whatever jersey.
Maybe that might have been against the Islanders. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
2 years ago. Anyways, I think that's it. We'll catch you guys next time.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, way to go. You just wasted this content before we
I
even
know. I
got
was
through the
thinking like,
intro.
are we
No,
gonna
it's rehearsed.
paste
It's
it in?
rehearsed.
Yeah, you're gonna have to ask the question again. I'll ask
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
wow, what an interesting
Oh
take.
wow.